What does the eclipse this week mean for you? Whew, it's going to be a big one. Stay tuned. We're about to get started. All right, everybody, Dallisa Hawking here. I am back with your Monday forecast for the week ahead. Listen, if there is one video that you have to watch this entire year, this might be the video. I'm not kidding. You're going to understand when we get into it in just a moment. We have a lot that we're going to cover. If you have not yet hit that subscribe button below, please make sure you do that. Give the video a thumbs up and comment and let me know where you're watching from today. Oh, man, this week... It's going to be interesting. So we're going to cover a few things in today's broadcast. Of course, we have the lunar eclipse that's happening this week. We also have Saturn retrograde that we're already in. We are getting ready to go into Mercury retrograde. We are already in the shadow period. What does that mean for you? What do I mean when I say there's big truth for this week? I will tell you. And then, of course, as always, I'll pull some tarot cards, give you a forecast for the week ahead. You'll pick your own card, and then I'll end with a collective card for everybody. But when I was getting ready for today, I was like, oh, mercy. Oh, mercy. I cannot stress the importance of watching and listening, like really listening to this entire video this week. It's going to be critical for you. Quick mention, the 21-day meditation challenge did start today. If you are a Spark Plug member, thank you. But you also received the email this morning with that. If you don't see it, check the member portal because it's in there as well. But if it did go into your spam folder in your email, just go in there and mark it as not spam. That would be great. And then a quick mention, I'll be back tomorrow at noon Pacific time with Lisa Gunshore, Nikki Allen, and Maria Howard. We're going to be doing another edition of Mysteries with the Mediums. We're going to be taking a look at who we think Jack the Ripper is. We are going to take a look at whether or not we believe D.B. Cooper survived. He is the one who hijacked the plane and then jumped out. And so did he survive the hijacking? We're going to take a look at that. And then somebody in the audience had asked, where's Jimmy Hoffa? So we're going to take a look and see if we can figure out where Jimmy Hoffa is at. So we'll be doing that tomorrow. So that's Mysteries with the Mediums tomorrow, which is May 25th at noon Pacific time. If you would like the chance to have a reading from somebody, one of your loved ones on the other side, you have to tune in live. And then you'll have the ability to access the live broadcast, and the mediums will all be on there. And we will be taking a few people that will be doing live readings for. So are you ready? I'm going to ask you all to take a big, deep breath. Let's see who's tuning in live today. Beautiful. Oh, look at everybody, all the faces. Nikki, Wendy, Spiritual Awakening, Hope, KTL, Treese, Jeff, Corolla, Helen, Karen, Mehul. Sorry if I said that wrong. Caroline, I think I said you already. So we have a Carol right after. Alan, beautiful. Ladybug, Letitia, Sarah, Amber, Tracy, beautiful. Welcome everybody in. Let's just get started. I've alluded to a few of the things in the topic bar that we're going to handle in today's episode. Oh my God, where do I want to get started? There's going to be a lot of truth revealed this week is one of the predictions that I'm making. If you've been following any of the major headlines in the news, maybe they're not major, maybe they're secondary, depends on where you're getting your news from. There are people that are kind of being called out, people that are being exposed in the media, people that are maybe have made choices that are not, on the up and up, whatever you want to say, right? You can go on an email or online internet news outlet and kind of read. I'd bounce between a few to get a more clearer picture. But why I bring it up is there's actually going to be more people that are going to be exposed. The word I'm hearing right now as a clairaudient is exposed. So anticipate more people this week kind of being called out, all right? There are several that come to mind right now that have already been called out in the last week. There's going to be more. There's going to be more. Amber, thanks so much for your patronage. I appreciate it. Okay, so a couple of dates I want you to keep in mind. I did mention this last week. There is an aspect in Trump's chart that happens today that is about being an instigator for truth. Now, I don't know if we're necessarily going to hear something in mainstream media today that he's involved with. However, I do feel, and what I was getting the sense of as I was writing down these notes is that there are a lot of things happening behind the scenes that are happening now that are going to be exposed. So I just want you to keep that in mind, okay? Kind of like circling the calendar in your mind for today for instigating truth and something that Trump is working on to do that, all right? Then, as I mentioned also last week, this Wednesday, there's actually big issues in Biden's chart, okay? Where I find that, isn't it interesting that one has a big hit of like, I'm going to expose you today, and the other has kind of the energy I'm picking up from it is like a downfall energy for Wednesday. Okay, so I just want you to keep that in mind. Like I said, you might not know it today or Wednesday exactly on the day, but know and trust that there are things happening behind the scenes. Wednesday is also the full moon lunar eclipse. I'm going to get to that in a minute, okay? A couple of other key dates and energies I want to point out to you, though, because there's going to be this huge energy this week of probably being a bit blindsided and truth being revealed, all right? So I'll get back to that full moon in just a moment. This Thursday, which is the 27th, there's an energy swirling around of people hiding information from you. Now, this could be somebody that you're in a romantic relationship. It could be a business partner. It could be a child. It could be a boss. Like, it's like you don't quite have all the pieces, but come Thursday, you might really start to suspect that there's information you don't have access to, or that somebody's not quite being all the way transparent with you. So keep that in mind. The suggestion is don't put anyone up on a pedestal. So if you're going into this week like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy I met so-and-so, or oh my gosh, I'm thrilled that so-and-so is doing this, this, and this for me, watch it. Watch it. Because what they just showed me as a clairvoyant is like the rug being like pulled out from underneath you this week, okay? You might be blindsided. You might be, but it's part of the course correction, all right? I'm going to get to that in a moment. So that's Thursday's energy. Fun, right? Like I said, you have to listen to this video start to finish because there's so much in it. And these are not to make you feel like, oh my God, doom and gloom. This is to say, all right, folks, here's the energy we're dealing with. How are you going to handle it? Knowing you're not alone. These videos are actually intended to help you. All right. Saturday, which is the 29th. There's also energy around truth, but specifically around the media. And there are some folks in the media being called out right now. And there's an energy for Saturday around like more people being called out and being accountable. There will likely be this week, especially as we get through the eclipse and we start to go into the latter part of the week, revelations in communication. All right. Now, this is going to play out on a bigger stage in terms of mainstream, but there's also going to be things in your own life where you're going to go, wait, what? Huh? Oh, yeah, I thought we were going to, oh, we're not doing that? oh, I was headed this way. Oh wait, wait, huh? It's that kind of energy, but it's going to be that plot twist energy this week, big time. Okay. Let's see here. The Saturn retrograde, we are in it now. We are in the Saturn retrograde until October 10th. And then there's a bit of a shadow period after. So just know now to October 10th. What does that mean? Okay. So the Saturn retrograde is asking us to go inward more than allowing external forces to tell us what to do. It's more about our own introspection, reflection. Inner self will be more critical than the outer worlds, okay? It's also going to ask you, what have I learned from my past mistakes? Which is really interesting because we have another retrograde I'm going to talk about in a second. But what have we learned? What have we learned? Are we going to keep repeating the same mistakes in our own life over and over, expecting something different to happen? Or are we finally going to step in and say, all right, I'm going to change this. I learned. So what have you learned? So that's from now until October 10th. Going inward. Okay. If you find yourself looking for answers and validations from other people in the world, media, other people that are in your life, and you're like, what do you think? What do you think I should do? You're gonna hit some walls. So it's more about trusting your own self, trusting your own intuition, and asking, what is it that I actually believe here? So it's about relying on yourself more than maybe ever in your whole life, in terms of deciphering what it is you should do. Now, obviously, I run a psychic business. I have practitioners that do readings all over for people all over the world. One thing I would mention is, a session that might be helpful right now, like if I had to give a suggestion, if you're just one of these people that are like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, because I anticipate we're going to be extremely busy this week and next week and the week after. Like the next 3 weeks, I think we're just going to be bombarded with people looking for sessions, which is awesome. But here's what I would challenge you to do, because the rug's going to come out. You're going to feel like you've been blindsided. You're going to feel like you're vulnerable. You're going to feel like, oh my God, what do I do now? I want you to ask yourself, what do you actually feel like doing? And then we can help you sort through it and share, the energy and what we're seeing, and how it applies to your life and how your energy and your higher self is showing up. But we can help you talk through it. Okay. So keep that in mind. If you're feeling like, oh my God, what do I do? We're here. We're here. We have people that can usually do sessions same day. So we're here. But I want you to also start to think about what it is you would do, rather than just run to somebody to say, hey, I need you to tell me what to do. That's not the Saturn retrograde energy. Saturn retrograde is like, no, I need you to sit there for a minute and actually think about it. What do you want? Okay, well, now we can look to see how that's going to play out. But pause first and think about it. Okay. Oh, let's see here. All right. Let's talk about Mercury retrograde next. I know I'm skipping around a little bit, but I'm going to save that lunar eclipse for a minute. Okay. So the Mercury retrograde, as I've been telling you, we're in the shadow period. We're already there. We're walking through the door, okay? Because the Mercury retrograde is going to hit us on the 29th, okay? 29th is this Saturday, but we're already in it. We're already in its aura, in its energy. And it's going to go till June 22nd, but then you have a shadow period afterwards. So I'm basically calling it, now to July 1st, roughly, okay? Which is just insane that we're going through Mercury retrograde, Saturn retrograde, and the lunar full moon all at the same time. Okay, so Mercury retrograde, as I've talked to you before about Mercury retrograde, if you saw my interview with Rebecca Gordon a few weeks ago, which was amazing. If you haven't watched that, go back and watch that on the channel. It's a lot of think of the words that start with RE. Like during Mercury retrograde, you're going to have to redo, revisit, realign. You're going to have to really just kind of slow down. So anything that kind of starts with RE would be a word that you could consider for Mercury retrograde. It's like a time for you. So it's basically 3 weeks plus shadow periods. It's about 5 weeks total that you are going to review things that you've been kind of working on and determining if this is something you're going to take forward with you. Isn't that interesting, right? Because a lot of what we've been talking about so far is like truth being revealed, you being now in the know, taking that blindfold off, seeing things for what they are. So Mercury retrograde is going to be like, all right, what are you going to do with it? What do you want to do with it now that you know? And so it's going to be that pause and the rethinking, revisiting, reviewing, so that when Mercury retrograde completes, you'll be able to really move forward, because then we have a solar eclipse June 10th. And of course, in the coming weeks, I'll be sharing more with you about that. Okay. So Mercury retrograde, it's a time to rethink and reconsider, or like correct plans that you've had in motion, right? Because you're going to be finding out stuff this week. So then you find it out and you're like, oh God, what do I do with this? Now what do I do with this? Okay, that's that energy. That's Mercury retrograde. There will be errors and like red flags that will come up during Mercury retrograde to say, are you sure? Is that really what you want? Because this isn't going to quite work out the way that you thought it was, but here's what could work out. So what do you want? So it's going to reveal things to you about things that you've been working on so that you can really course correct and think through that. As always with Mercury retrograde, especially with everything energetically going on this week, next week, and then heading into the solar eclipse, back up your data. I'm telling you, there are going to be issues with phones. I think there's going to be issues with the internet, things not really working out that well, things kind of just, so if you have data that you need to make sure that you have, back it up. Okay. If you are going to be traveling anywhere, Mercury retrograde is always a hotbed time for things to just not go right. Like you show up at the hotel, they don't have your reservation for your hotel room. You get on the plane breaks down, you got to switch planes. Something happens, you're delayed, you miss your flight. Like that's the kind of stuff that happens. If you're traveling at all during these next 5 weeks, leave extra time. Please leave extra time and just kind of know things are going to be bumpy with travel. As always with Mercury retrograde, you probably don't want to make any big decisions unless it's something you absolutely have to do. It's usually best to wait until it's over. So like June 1st onward would be where I'd say sign on the dotted line. If it's something that, needs to be in writing or a contract or anything like that. Because the reason why I feel like it's put so strongly right now is because you don't know everything yet. I really feel like over these next 5 weeks, you're going to find out a lot about your life, about things you're working on. And so right now, you just don't have all the pieces. All right. So if you do have to make a big decision now, just be mindful that you're probably going to have to do some edits or some revisions. Okay. Also during Mercury retrograde is a period where people tend to misinterpret your messages. So over these next 5 weeks, this would not be the time to be spouting off text messages, or like sending emails that are up for interpretation. It's really just, if you can, the next 5 weeks, just pick up the phone and call the person if you need to have a conversation, or wait until July 1st, wait until you have more information, and then you can have those meetings, or those important conversations. Oh, yeah. I told you, we got a few more things and we're going to pull some cards. Okay. All right. The full moon and lunar eclipse is this Wednesday, the 26th. Here are some key attributes to the full moon and lunar eclipse. Lots of tears, lots of emotions, death and transformation, financial issues. Here's some astrologers that are predicting that the stock market's just going to do something nutty. Truth, as we've been mentioning, people exiting our lives. There's actually huge energy right now around breakups, partnerships and business breakups, people quitting jobs, people ending romantic relationships, getting divorced, like a lot of breakup energy right now. And there's the full moon lunar eclipse. I wrote down heavy WTF news. Yeah, I mean, you got to laugh, right? Because it's like, holy Moses. Okay. What else? The full moon. Stick with the facts. It's going to be very emotional. So understand that people that are around you this week, they're probably going to be spouting off at the mouth. Think about it this way. Everyone handles emotions differently. This week's emotions are going to be like amplified by 100 of what people normally do, say, feel. They're going to blame you for things. They're going to yell at you. They're just going to be really emotional because everyone handles emotions differently. Some will go really quiet. Like you might have somebody in your life where you're like, hello, where'd you go? It's probably because they're more inward. They're doing that Saturn retrograde energy. They're looking inward. But they might go quiet because that's how they deal with emotions. But if somebody is feeling emotional, they might lash out at you. I almost guarantee somebody's going to lash out at you this week. It's that big of an energy. So I want you just to kind of stay grounded and breathe and remember you can't take anything personally. It's never about you. So kind of think through how you're going to handle that when somebody says something to you this week and you're like, what did you just say to me? Remember, if you send that back in a text, they're probably going to fight with you more because of the Mercury retrograde energy. So really think through, like, take a deep breath. How do I want to handle this? Okay, they just said that to me. That's not very nice. How do I want to tackle this head on so that you don't have as many issues? Okay. Let's see here. So yeah, say goodbye to your old ways. Welcome in the new will be part of the energy. Growth, truth, and consciousness. Oh, that was the other part. So a moment ago when I was talking about the emotions, they said to me in my ear, and they just said it to me again. People are going to feel very, very emotional this week because it's going to feel like the tower, the house is burning down that they know, and they're going to feel out of control. So when some people don't get the control that they like or need in order to help them feel safe, they become really angry, really emotional, and that's why they lash out. They wanted me to make sure I said that to you. Okay. The full moon this week is also going to bring you an opportunity to grow past your own limiting beliefs, your own self-sabotaging energy, right? If you allow it, right? If you're a control monster that wants to hold everything so tightly, you're going to have a really hard time with this lunar and solar eclipse. Like I said, the solar eclipse is coming up in a couple weeks. We have that to look forward to, which we do. That'll be interesting too. Okay, and then lastly with the full moon, things will collapse in your life. They will. I told you that the card for 2021 is the Tower in Tarot. That's the transformation. That's things burning to the ground. That's you being able to be the phoenix rising, being able to rebuild it. You are literally at the week this year that says, all right, here's your Tower moment. Are you going to take it? What are you going to do with it? Okay. But with things burning to the ground symbolically, it gives you an opportunity to go inward with Saturn's retrograde and say, all right, what do I actually want then? Because I thought I wanted that. I thought I wanted that person. They don't give me the time of day. They don't show up for me in a relationship. Okay. God, I really thought I wanted this business agreement, but man, it's just not really working, is it? Right? So it's that kind of energy. It's the review of things that are happening around you. The universe is going to shift things around. It's going to disrupt your life, but to get you to say, all right, fine. All right, what am I going to do? So it's actually for you, but it's going to feel nutty. Okay. I'll put the banner at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to look through some of the comments in a moment while I'm shuffling cards. So reminder, we are on Instagram. Please make sure you subscribe to this channel, because I may just have to jump on and do impromptu videos if things start really hitting the fan in the mainstream. If you want our alerts for when I go live, just text the word expand to 33222. But yeah, if you need a session, go to spiritandspark.com, click on book a session. The other two last points I'm going to say about all the energy that's going on astrologically and what I feel is coming. It's going to ask you to stay present, to stay in the moment, moment to moment, because what happens today, something different will happen Wednesday, something different will happen Saturday. You're just going to have to flow. So let go of control. And then when your emotions do show up this week, because I said it's going to be a big emotional week, you're going to be crying, they're going to be crying, everyone's going to be releasing and letting go. But what are your emotions trying to tell you? So when you're crying and you're having the breakdown, I want you to ask yourself, okay, why did you show up? Why are these tears showing up for me? What are they trying to show me? Because if you can do that, you're way ahead of the game. And then you have the solar eclipse to look forward to, which is more about that, like rebirth and moving forward energy, which we'll obviously talk about. Yeah, spiritual awakening. Yeah, we need, yeah, you do. Like I said, this is one video you can't miss. Yeah, Anita's saying at least we know we're not alone. Yeah, emotions are a huge indicator. Emotions are actually a huge gift. When you're feeling something, if you could just pause in that moment and say, why do I feel this way? You'll have so much clarity coming forward, that you can make the decisions that you need to have. But if you're just crying and you're going to go back to your old ways and you're not actually asking yourself what's going on, like, good luck. You're at a huge, huge turning point in your life, whether you realize it or not. Huge. I've been talking about the prisoner and the pioneer energy for months. I started last fall. I think it was last fall, where I was telling everybody, watch my YouTube videos. Listen, folks, there's two paths. You're either a prisoner of your own life, a prisoner of what people tell you to do, or you're a pioneer and you're making choices for yourself, and you can only have one. And I was saying even back then, I'm like, look, they're starting to split, but you still have time to jump. We're at the point now where I'm like, it's going to get harder to jump if you don't start doing the work and getting out of your own way. Okay. All right, beautiful. So let's do cards. I know, I'm sorry, but listen, it is what it is. I'd rather you know and know that you're not alone, because think about what's worse. So we've got people watching live, right? And there'll be people that watch the replay. You are in a fraction of the percentage of people, I'm going to talk about the United States, but in the United States, that even listen to this video, that even know that there's immense energy coming with the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse, that there's a Mercury retrograde, that there's a Saturn retrograde. You are in a fraction. So imagine being somebody who didn't hear this video, driving around, walking around, trying to like live your life, doing the best you can, having no idea what's actually happening on our planet energetically. And that this is actually all designed to get you to where you're going so that you can be that phoenix rising. So consider yourself extremely fortunate and blessed to even know that it's happening. That's how I feel. I'm like, even though it's going to be a really intense few weeks, at least I know why. Because when you know why, you can glide through it a little bit easier, saying, I know what this is. Okay, so that just happened. That person just yelled at me. What is that trying to tell me? What do I need to learn from this, right? It's all designed to get you to grow and to evolve and to love yourself more and to love other people more, because we're all in this together. And remember, everyone handles their house burning to the ground differently. You're going to have a wide variety of how people are going to treat you this week. Just know that. Okay. Okay. So let's do cards. I told you. Don't say I didn't tell you. Yeah, Mysteries of the Mediums will be tomorrow. Here's what I'd love for you to do. And I know I've asked you this before. Please, please, please share this video with a few people that don't know about me, don't know about the channel. Please encourage them to watch it. If you even send it to 3 people, because just like I said, there's so many people that have no idea. So if you share this with them and say, hey, I think you need to know what's going to be happening this week. I think it's going to help you get through your day. I would really, really appreciate it. And not from an ego point of view, but because I'm here to help. My mission is to help and serve people in a spiritual capacity. So the only way I can do that is if you help me share it. Okay? It's that serious of a week. All right? So let's pull a few cards for, these are the tarot cards. Let me pull cards for this week and see what we're dealing with. Okay? Oh God, I'm like, all right, let's do these ones. I pulled the 8 of Cups. So the 8 of Cups is actually challenges with emotions. No surprise, right? So the 8 of Cups is our first card for this week. So this card for me is all about like obstacles, barriers, things you're going to have to overcome, but it has to do with emotions. One, because cups are emotions, but the moon is also emotions. Oh, and weren't we just talking about the moon? Fun. Okay. There's going to be challenges. Look, even in this card, they're turning their back and they're like, oh man, I think I'm just going to go on my own way. That's Saturn. That's the Saturn retrograde. I'm just going to turn. I'm going to look inward. I'm going to be the hermit. Okay. That's that card. Be the hermit this week. All right. Whew. All right. Let's see what else is happening this week. Oh, interesting. So there's going to be, the good news is y'all must have heard me. We got the 4 of Cups. The 4 of Cups actually, for me, I read this card in the way of the 4 being stability. So more stability with your emotions. Okay. So that's good. So that tells me you're listening and you're going to reflect on your emotions. You're not going to get drug into the narrative of the emotions, but instead you're going to go, all right, what do I want? What is this trying to show me? You're going to see the gift in it, which is great. So thank you for listening. So stability with your emotions. All right. All right. So next up, let's see what else we got. Listen, folks, we got another 8. So the 8 is also, again, about blocks, barriers, things getting in the way. The wands are kind of like going for it, like the spirit of life. Like I'm flying through the air. You see, this card is also for me about travel and things like moving forward quickly. So pairing that message together, it's like, all right, there's going to be challenges and things are going to be moving quickly. Okay. So if we were to recap challenges with emotions, then you're going to go, okay, I understand what my emotions are trying to show me, but damn, things are happening fast. People are showing me their true colors. I'm getting this rug pulled out from underneath me and I've got challenges around it. Okay. So that's the flow of the week so far. Things moving quickly. We got the Chariot. The Chariot for me is about things moving. It's advancement, it's progress, it's action. This week is not going to be a sit on your butt kind of slow. Oh, I just love my peace and relaxation this week. That's not going to be this week. The Chariot's a major arcana card. It signals major big energy for the week. And it's like, we're going, folks. All aboard. Let's go. Okay. Okay, it's beautiful. And then to wrap up the week, we got the 3 of Cups. The 3 of Cups for me is also, again, the cups are like an emotional card. It's using your intuition. It's connections. It's coming from a place of the heart. It's connecting with your family. And you can see they're celebrating in this card. But for me, the 3 actually signals thinking about new ways of doing things, changing things up. So isn't that interesting, right? So you got the 2 8s, which are like barriers, blocks, ish happening. The Chariot's like, get on board. This we're going. God, I almost cussed really badly. Okay, we're going. And this card's like, okay, now what do I want? Because the 3 in numerology, at least when it comes to the tarot, is like thinking outside of the box, being imaginative, thinking like, what do I want now? So this is how that week's going to end, is like, well, crap. Things were hitting me left and right. Now I'm going to figure out what I want. So they're actually really in alignment with what I was getting earlier and what the astrological predictions are. So it makes total sense. Yeah, buckle up, right? Buckle up. Okay, so we're going to do, listen, I know we've done this deck for the pick a card section the last couple of weeks. However, with the full moon, with everything we're going to have to purge and let go of and go, what the F? We're going to do the Power of Surrender deck again, which is Judith Orloff. I love these cards. So we're going to do 1 through 5. All you got to do is comment number 1 through 5. I'm going to pull 5 cards. It's going to tell you what energy you can expect from this week. What do you need to surrender? So pick a number 1 through 5. I'm going to lay out 5 cards. I'm going to tell you which card you picked, and then we'll do one more card for the collective. Oh, mercy. Oh, wait till we get to like next Monday and we're on live and it's going to be like, did you do it? Did you make it through? Are we all here? Because then we got to start talking about the solar eclipse. But listen, we got to get through this week first. Okay. But remember, we are here for you. Go to spiritandspark.com, click on book a session. We'll help you talk through it. We're here. I promise you, we'll help you. You don't have to do it alone, but I do want you to check in with yourself. Okay? Okay. Okay, let's do this. Okay. Card 1, card 2, card 3, card 4, card 5. Interesting cards this week, folks. All right. Oh, I love the people that pick 2, like that pick 2 cards. So I'm like, wow, you really want it this week. Okay, here we go. Now I read the cards slightly differently than what you might see on the card, especially for this first one. So if you pick the number 1, it's surrender to addictions. But for me, this card, whenever I pull it from the deck, is actually about the negative thinking, the negative thoughts, right? It's like, what are you telling yourself? What are the old stories you're telling yourself? Because for me, like, look, she's holding her head. And this is like, oh, yeah, you know, whatever your mom used to tell you that wasn't positive, or, you know, a negative sibling that gets under your skin. What's looping around in your head? So if you pick the number, card 1, people, if you pick this card, it's going to ask you this week with that, especially with the Saturn retrograde. It's like, okay, what am I thinking? Why do I keep telling myself that? It's not true. Why do I keep looking in the mirror saying, damn, you really should lose 15 pounds? All right, well, if that makes you feel better, then what are you going to do about it? So it's about not getting caught in the everlasting loop of just creating negative stories. Okay, so if you're a card 1 person, I really want you to watch your thoughts this week. Card 2 people, I feel like we have this last week. Surrender to play. Remember that when you are happy, when you have fun, honest to God, if you are, this is going to sound so counterintuitive, but if you're feeling like you're stuck or you can't make a decision or you're having trouble making a decision, if you actually go and do something that's fun, like truthfully, you laugh, you go out, you do something, you will raise your vibration. And I would almost guarantee that within 24 to 48 hours after doing the fun thing, you'll have your answer. It'll bring the playfulness, the fun, the laughter. It actually brings you clarity. So I would keep that in mind if you picked card 2, because card 2, that would tell me like, all right, you're going to have some decisions you're going to have to make this week. So go do something fun in order to figure it out. Card 3 people, I really need you to watch what you say to other people this week. So when I saw this card, Surrender Your Ego, I actually heard clairaudiently to tell card 3 people, do not fly off the handle this week. I really feel like if you picked card 3, somebody's going to push your buttons this week. And you can either come from a place of like trying to position yourself or, puff out your chest or like, I'm going to tell you, don't do it. Don't do it. Take a breath, pause, don't do it, because this card is like, you trying to step over someone else this week. Because listen, we get lit, right? Like the fire comes and like lights us on the bottom of our feet and we just like react, right? Sometimes if you pick card 3, they're like, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. Card 4, surrender to miracles. If you picked card 4 for this week, expect miracles. Ask for miracles every day. This tells me if you're a card 4 person that you probably have either been playing it too safe or too small in your life. And the eclipse is going to probably ask you to think bigger. How can you go bigger, go bolder, do more in your life, achieve the things that you actually want to achieve? Okay. So if you pick card 4, I want you to think bigger for yourself. And card 5, surrender low self-esteem. Remember what we were saying about Saturn retrograde. It's asking you right now and through middle of October to really go inward, do the work on yourself. You will attract into your life the level of success, money, and abundance that you think you're worth. I'm not kidding. So if you pick card 5, I want you to ask yourself during this full moon, I want you to ask yourself, where could I love myself just a little bit more? Where can I look in the mirror and say, you got this a little bit more? Okay. Let me shuffle our last card that we're going to do for today, which is a card of destiny by Sharon Jeffers. Yeah, if you're playing it small, you're playing it safe, this eclipse is going to really rock you to go bigger, to talk to people, to get out of the house, to start new projects, to go volunteer somewhere. Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be our collective message to wrap up the video today. Reminder, Mysteries with the Mediums is at noon Pacific tomorrow right here on Spirit and Spark TV. And there we are. Flew right out of the deck. Okay. SM Thompson, I'm glad that helped. Okay, here we go. Of course. I don't even know what the card is going to say. I don't have these memorized because they're kind of lengthy, but the 5 of clubs. We know what the 5 is, right, folks? We're in the year of a 5. We're in the month of a 5. It's change. It's transformations. Of course, we got this card this week. Here we go. Let curiosity lead the way. Remain open to changes with ideas, plans, and the directions you thought you might be going in. Shifts in thinking are opening up new horizons for you. And it will be wise for you to be fluid and flexible in general and specifically. So basically be flexible throughout your whole life in every area. Flexibility is your greatest power at the moment. Change always brings growth. The 5 of clubs is the card of mental curiosity, and it teaches us to be open and receptive to new ideas and changes that perhaps we didn't initiate or see coming. Curiosity is the key to opening new doors. Be receptive and look to see where the change could lead to, rather than fearing the loss of what is. This is an opportune time for spiritual shifts that are relative to your daily life. Share what you are learning with those that matter the most in your life. And I think you can do that by sharing this video first. Go share this with at least 3 people who need it. Because please do them a favor, because when they know what's coming, they'll be better prepared and they can handle it with a little bit more grace and kindness. Okay. Whew. I'll see you tomorrow, Mysteries of the Medium, noon Pacific, and take a deep breath. We're going to get through this week. We're going to get through it. I promise we're going to get through it. But keep breathing, practice patience, practice grace and kindness with yourself and with other people. All right? Okay. We'll see you soon. Remember, we're here when you need us. Spiritandspark.com. Click on book a session. All right. Bye for now.